welcome to the Cyber Clinic podcast. Today, we're joined by someone who is redefining what it means to merge healthcare, technology, and human connection. Our guest, Andrea Finlay, is a registered nurse, certified healthcare quality professional, and the founder of Excel Heron Consulting and AI Academy. Andrea is a speaker, certified AI consultant, and LinkedIn strategist recognized as one of Fabicon's LinkedIn top 200 female health and medical content creators in the US. Through her work at Excel Run, she helps professionals, healthcare teams, and organizations adopt AI with clarity, confidence, and purpose, empowering them to save time, reduce costs, and reimagine workflows through responsible AI implementation. Her approach blends clinical insight, business strategy, and AI innovation, showing that artificial intelligence isn't here to replace people. It's here to amplify human potential. Today, we'll explore how professionals in every field, from healthcare to education to administration, can use AI responsibly and strategically to stay ahead in a rapidly changing world. Andrea, welcome to the Cyber Clinic podcast. It's an honor to have you here today.
Thank you, Claude. I am very happy to be here with you discussing this very exciting topic.
Thank you. My first question for you here is this. What inspired you to merge clinical work, healthcare operations, and AI?
All right, so that's a really good question. So I started my career in the business field and then I pivoted to healthcare administration. I wanted to get into a career that would have an impact on others and help other people and have really much more of a meaningful impact. So I pivoted over to healthcare administration. I was a quality consultant where I was focused on data and metrics and outcomes in the hospital setting. But then I noticed just sitting in on conference meetings, I noticed that there was a significant gap between what was discussed in the conference rooms by the healthcare leaders and what actually occurred at the bedside with the nurses and the doctors. So both sides were focusing on the same outcome, but they were speaking different languages. So with that gap, it inspired me to explore the clinical field, and I decided to return to school to pursue a nursing career so that I can be more informed about what happens on the bedside and really impact healthcare quality in a more meaningful way.
That's impressive.
Yes.
My next question for you here is this. How do you help healthcare professionals see that AI enhances, not replaces them?
All right, so another good question because I get this question a lot from professionals and different people in various industries. We have to understand that AI is like a great assistant, right? AI is not here to replace you, it cannot replace you. However, it's very important to note that you have to be educated on AI and AI tools. AI is not going anywhere. We really need to get caught up because we're behind. It's not going anywhere. So it really doesn't make sense fearing it. We have to get ahead and educate ourselves on the tools because AI is not able to be empathetic to make the right decisions as a clinician can or a professional can. So we really have to understand that AI tools are to be utilized as an amplifier to our existing genius.
Totally agree with you because I don't think AI will ever be able to replace that human connections that people tend to have when they're on the bedside or they have their healthcare providers assisting them. It's a different ball game when you have that human connection. That's very good to know. How can professionals move from fear to informed participation in AI?
All right. So I always say that fear usually comes from the unknown, right? So the easiest way to overcome that fear of AI is to learn. And we have the internet at our disposal. So we can research. We hear a lot of different tools like ChatGPT, Claude AI. So just starting with one tool and learning about it, whether it's looking it up online, looking at a video, signing up for that tool. A lot of people are familiar with ChatGPT, and you really go in and you explore and you prompt and you ask questions. And the more that you do, you would get a sense of the capabilities of these AI tools. And then once you master that or you feel pretty comfortable with that, you can move on to another tool. And I always suggest that you start with something small. So you think about your daily repetitive tasks, meeting notes. A lot of us go to meetings and then somebody is taking notes. It may take 30 minutes after the meeting to capture what occurred on the meeting. But now we have AI that can assist with that, right? Where it can capture everything that happened during the meeting, summarize it, provide next steps. And so these are just some small ways that you can learn AI and see the capabilities of these tools.
Yes, indeed. I think AI is making a big deal. It's a big deal in any kind of profession nowadays. It's
Yes.
making a big difference. Um, what's the biggest mindset shift people have once they start learning AI?
I think the biggest shift is understanding that you don't have to be too tech savvy. A lot of people hear about AI and they think about coding and algorithms and all of that, but AI is really a large language model and it is already trained, but it's also conversational. So we have to use that tool and train it in the way that we think. In terms of the way that we prompt, the way that we ask questions, and whatever we feed into the tool, it actually memorizes that and it gives us that output. So I would say the biggest thing is just understanding the simplicity of it. AI is used to amplify what we already know, but the biggest thing is the time that it saves us. And just being able to summarize documents that may have taken a week or months to go through for work or for personal use, we can summarize those documents within minutes. So it's just about saving the time and being able to expedite a lot of our day-to-day processes. I think a lot of people appreciate that or they're surprised by that.
You are absolutely right because in the medical field alone, the benefits of saving people time, the professionals having to write notes. There are so many different tools they use to now write notes. This way, then it brings the doctors, nurses, healthcare professionals closer to the patients as opposed to just be concerned by taking notes and not having to spend so much time nearby the patients. That's very good to know.
Yes, you're absolutely right because a lot of people think that AI is going to remove the human approach, but as we would discuss further on in this conversation, it actually would free up the nurses and the doctors to spend more quality time at the bedside because oftentimes you find the burnout where they're inundated with documentation and preparing discharge paperwork and they don't have time to spend that quality time engaging with the patient and providing that bedside care that they would like to, and that leads them to burnout. So AI can actually help with that to decrease the amount of time that they would have to spend on administrative tasks.
Yes, you are absolutely right. And I've read quite a few articles on that, seeing how the burnout have gone down a little bit because of the introductions of some of the AI tools that take over and allow folks to be able to communicate and spend much more time on the bedside of those patients. Very good. My next question for you, Andrea, how do you make AI approachable for non-technical professionals?
So I train a variety of people, and for the non-technical people, I just have to say, just taking that step and reaching out for help is admirable, right? So I think we want to meet them where they are. So whatever your day-to-day process is, I actually do like an audit, an AI audit, we call it, right? Where we find out about the process for their business or personal life, because you can use AI in different areas, right? So we just find out, what do you do daily? Are you researching articles? Are you scheduling appointments? How often do you have meetings? And really go through that process. And then I walk them through a list of questions to determine what that workflow is like. And then I make a recommendation on what AI tools they can use to basically buy back their time, right? So just meeting that person or that team where they are, and then making the recommendations on what tools they can use to really like I said, buy back the time and use that time to do something even more important. Anything that we can do to automate the process with still maintaining the human oversight. So I meet them in that area.
That's true. I
Yep.
agree with that too. I think we touched on that a little bit earlier as far as the burnout times. So how can
Mhm.
AI help reduce burnout in healthcare?
So yes, like I mentioned, it's the documentation, the administrative overload, not necessarily the patient care, right? So AI can assist with summarizing the meeting notes, like we talked about, writing policies and reports. One of the things that I really like about certain AI tools is you hear from patients who are not familiar with their medication, like the name of the medication or that complex diagnosis, and they don't really understand how to pronounce it or what it even means, right? When you're in the hospital, you're not feeling well, right? So AI can be used by the physicians and the nurses to actually simplify and really explain the disease process, what's happening to the patient, really break it down so that they can understand it, even for the family members, because it's an overwhelming experience when you're in the hospital caring for a sick relative and they're being discharged. You nod at the doctor or the nurse, but do you really understand? I think the question comes in is like when you get at home, you're like, what medication is this? What did the doctor say? But having things broken down in a simplified way, it allows the patient to be more receptive of what's happening with their care, and then to be able to teach back or to ask certain questions before they're actually discharged. So there's so much benefit for using AI in the healthcare field and in other industries as well. And that's just one of the examples, buying back time and really providing that quality care to our patients and in other industries or clients or customers.
Right. Yes, indeed, there's that concern in the medical field with AI. Yeah.
Yes.
I have a question here. What ethical principles should healthcare organizations focus on with AI?
So three words come to mind. I would say privacy, transparency, and verification, right? You want to ensure that you never input patient identifiers into general AI tools. A lot of companies now they've embraced AI, so they have their custom GPTs. so that it's within the company and it's within the guidelines and the ethics. So I think that's like a really great step so that when you do use that AI tool, you know that there are guardrails in place. Another thing is to be transparent with the staff, right? And of course, in the healthcare field with the patients, you want to let them know that you are using AI, you're embracing AI. Because quite frankly, a lot of people are fearful of AI, but AI is not going anywhere, right? So we might as well embrace it, create policies around it, and be transparent about it, right? If the leaders are not educated on AI and the best practices, the staff, they're going to use it because people have their cell phones, they could record, they have Chat GPT on their phones, Perplexity, Claude, whatever it is. If they can see the benefit of it, but the company is not educated on it, then you run into problems where staff or employees may use it the wrong way. So I would say that just ensuring that you have a department that's focused on privacy, you're being transparent with your employees and your customers, and then you have that human oversight of verification.
Yeah. One thing I would add to that, which makes a lot of sense, just to corroborate what you said, the human oversight, which now has a little bit of a cybersecurity impact, which allows people to be careful and look
Mhm.
into what can you do, what can you access, and what degree or measure of safety you should apply in either processing or trying to get to any kind of computer related, whether it's in-house
Yes.
applications that specific hospitals deal with. And there's this branch of AI. It's not a branch of AI, but rather something that also pertains to AI, which is called federated learning. It's something that
Hmm.
has a great deal to do with cybersecurity as well, and in how different hospitals connect and do these things. But you're absolutely right, Andrea,
Yeah.
in that. And that brings me to another question. What's your vision for AI in healthcare in the next decade or in the next 5 years? Because it's going
Yeah.
so fast, right?
Yeah, and that's interesting that you said the next 5 years. I'm thinking the next 5 months, right?
Hmm.
Because it's like I mentioned before, I feel comfortable in saying that we're behind, because I'm doing a lot of research on in AI. A lot of the communities that I'm in, they're focused on, like for example, the AI consulting program that I'm in. We're all focused on the AI tools and the ethics and just learning. And it's very surprising that a lot of people are just not learning it the way that they should. A lot of people are under the assumption that AI is just Chat GPT, but it goes deeper than that, right? AI is here. If you look at the healthcare industry, AI is already here where it can predict certain diagnosis, right? It can spot certain tumors ahead of time. It can take family history and predict whether you're at a greater risk for developing a cancer or something like that. So, in terms of the data, I think for the future, the near future, um, we're not going to, speaking from a quality perspective, we're not going to be um, looking at things from a retrospective view, we would be able to predict certain things, prevent falls, prevent infections in the hospital before it actually happens, based on the data and using AI to do the analysis and the predictive analysis. So it's very promising. And that's why I think it's very, very essential for people in the hospital systems, like clinicians. We have to get on board. We have to get in the room. The nurses, they belong in tech. You have to be at the table. Even the patients, right? We don't want to just leave it up to the tech folks to roll things out. We want to have a voice at the table. So I really see that AI is going to change a lot, but the sooner you get on board and you learn, you would feel more comfortable about where you stand and where your job stands and the influence that you have.
Yes. And if you don't mind my adding a little bit to that, which makes a
Yes.
lot of sense, I totally agree with your contention on this. Um, Talking about the predictive analytics aspect of it in terms of predicting things that will happen. There's an example. There's this company called Blue Ivy in Canada. They were able to detect the COVID-19 9 days before the WHO declared it as a pandemic. So
Mhm.
these things it's AI based that they were able
Yeah.
to do that. And had WHO discovered that 9 days the same way the Blue Ivy discovered it, then it would have probably saved many more lives than it did in their efforts to save lives. So yes, indeed, AI helps a great deal in the predictive analytics based upon data coming from them, people coming for triage, whatever the reasons that might bring somebody into a hospital. All of these data are collected and they are able to see who's likely to come back, who's likely not to come back. That makes a lot of sense. I totally agree with you, Andrea, on that. You made a good point.
Yeah.
And that brings me to the question, why is visibility on LinkedIn so important for professionals right now?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, as it relates to AI, LinkedIn is the conversations are happening on LinkedIn as it relates to AI, healthcare. And mind you, we're talking a lot about healthcare, but AI is touching every profession out there, from construction to, project management to education. Everything is being revamped.
Right, you
So
name
whatever,
it.
yes, whatever industry you're in, AI is going to impact it, right? One of the, just wanted to give an example. You can now create a podcast. You can clone your voice, right? You can clone your voice and you're not actually showing up for the podcast. Real, by the way, and Claude is real too. But in the next couple of years, maybe you would have clones, right? You would have avatars. But back to your question on LinkedIn. So this is where the conversations are happening. LinkedIn back in the day was primarily for job searching, and you post your resume, and the recruiters look for you. It's no longer that like that. LinkedIn is one of the largest, well, if not the largest, professional platforms where these discussions are taking place, right? The decision makers, the company owners, they're all on LinkedIn. There are various groups. You can learn so much from LinkedIn. And as clinicians and just professionals in the working world, like we need to be on LinkedIn so that we can show up as thought leaders, right? It's a multidisciplinary approach. Like you don't want to look at AI as just tech, right? You need to have the tech and you need to have the nurses, the doctors, the project managers, everybody on board having the conversations. Because the people who are driving AI and tech, they're not taking care of patients, right? But you have the nurses who they have that bedside experience, they have that knowledge, and even the physicians. And they all need to come together and have those discussions and this, it happens on LinkedIn. I see it every day. And the more you show up, the more you're influencing change. If any of you check my LinkedIn, I talk a lot about healthcare and AI and just teaching people how important it is to learn these AI tools so that you can benefit, but you can also influence, the next generation and, decisions in your workplace around AI. Yep.
Yes. Um, and just for the audience for now, I will
Mhm.
put in some of the links that Andrea has been working on on the side on the chat room, not now, in just a few. You'll be able to ask her questions pertaining to that as well. Her expertise on LinkedIn and how that can actually help you in case that would be a concern for you for your AI or your LinkedIn links. Now, here's one other thing that I'd like to point out as well that you mentioned as far as fake videos, avatars, and all of these things. There's such thing called deepfakes out there. It's no joke. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil deGrasse Tyson is people I guess know him as a what's his
Astronaut.
huh?
He's an astronaut, right?
Right,
He's a
yeah,
physicist, I
yeah, he's
believe.
an
Yeah,
astrophysicist.
astrophysicist. Yeah,
Somebody had him talking, saying that he confirms that the Earth is flat.
I saw
And
that.
it's very unlikely if you're not familiar with the intricacies of those videos for you to be able to tell, wait a minute, this is not really Neil deGrasse Tyson's talking. But unbeknownst to a whole lot of people, you would not even know. In order for you to detect these things, you have to be very careful in looking at the uh, um, many different ways of looking at one image that might not be or video that might not reflect the actual person. You can see the eyes, they're not, flipping the same way, or these types of things that you need to realize. The movements, the everything that characterizes a person talking might be a point something for you to say, oh, this is somebody who's mimicking someone here, the voice and everything, but that's not quite so. Yes, I agree with you on that, Andrea. I have another question for you. How can different disciplines collaborate to build better AI systems?
Yeah, so I touched on that in my last answer, just coming together on LinkedIn, and having the conversation, engaging with each other. I would say attending various conferences. In the fall, there appears to be a lot of different conferences. And now you actually have AI summits and AI conferences where people from different walks of life and professions, they come together. I've attended quite a few, and I meet people I meet educators, teachers, providers, nurses, um, project managers, even administrative assistants, because there is that concern about how AI is going to impact them. I'll just give you an example. I attended a conference recently and we learned about creating agents. Those agents are basically they're basically employees, right? So if you attend these conferences and you educate yourself, you can figure out, okay, this is my job, this is what I do, this is what I need to do to upskill so that I would not be replaced, right? So I just want to clarify this because I made a mention of AI is not taking your jobs, but AI will be taking some jobs, right? You have agents right now. I'm working with someone to build some agents that can actually serve as a secretary or an admin, right? You have agents that you can build that can do research for you. You set it up and it does the research for you, and you get your research every morning or the news. Schedule doctor's appointments, reschedule, book flights. For real estate, you can have an agent that is built that would answer regular questions that the real estate agent would typically be answering, but you create an agent and it handles all of that. And I'm talking about an agent that actually talks like you, talks and have intelligent conversation as if you're talking to a human. It has humor, intelligence, anything you can think about. So if that's your job, you have to learn how is AI impacting that and what can I do, right? Because imagine you being at your job and then your boss comes start talking about AI. If you've been learning it for months or years, you can speak up to say, I know about XYZ. Before you know it, you'll be that person who may lead the team on AI. So these are ways, instead of being fearful of AI, just figure out what am I doing right now and go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, here's my resume, or this is what I do on a daily basis. How is AI going to impact this? And what should I do? That's one of the benefits of AI, right? You go to the tool and you say, here's my situation. I want to make sure that I'm not replaced. What do I need to do? What do I need to learn so that um, I can upskill and not be replaced? Right. So I would say just going to these conferences, LinkedIn, reach out to the decision makers. It's real CEOs, real business owners, real project managers. Reach out and engage, and you would be surprised. Like I have tons of people reaching out to me on in my inbox for collaboration, just to chat about AI because I post about AI every week, a few times per week. They want to talk. I had folks from Harvard reach out to me. They're working on a project and they're like, well, we see you posting on LinkedIn all the time. You're a consultant, you have background in healthcare. You may be our opportunity to get into the hospital system. So just different opportunities. You have to be visible on LinkedIn. And that's a way for you to collaborate with others. And the sky's the limit because you're influencing change as well as learning.
Yes, that's right. I will put the links on there shortly. This is so folks can take a look and see what Andrea is really talking about there.
Yeah.
Um, my next question for you is this. For someone just starting out, what's one simple step to learn AI this week?
I would say one simple thing that you can use this week is I think most people have ChatGPT, right? Let's say you don't have ChatGPT, you can try Perplexity. That's another AI tool that I recommend. So ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Claude AI, right? You can sign up for them. Most of them are free to begin with, and then you can pay a monthly fee, like 20 something dollars, but most of them are free. So let's say you do Chat GPT, you can prompt, which is enter an instruction into the tool, and just ask it. I am an educator. Give me some advice on how I can use AI or how I can use ChatGPT to improve the curriculum for my students. Or I am a project manager. Can you provide some tips and tools on how I can organize my projects better or how I can streamline my projects? So literally look at it as an assistant, and it's a genius assistant. So I would say that would be a good way to start, just asking it questions. If you have a business in mind or you have a project in mind, ask it. Can you help me come up with a business plan? And the more you do these things, you see how smart the tools are, and then it guides you from there. So those are would be my recommendation.
Nice. Interesting.
Yes.
How can you walk us through a real use case, how a patient safety team might use AI?
All right. So, yes, I would love to do that. For the
Would you
purpose of
like for me
time,
to, would you like for me
yes,
to share my screen so that they can see
yes, I think
the,
you have the video.
okay, so let me switch to that real quickly. Give me 1 second.
Just expand my screen so that I can see.
Right. Are you able to see it?
Maybe a few more seconds. Okay, is it expandable or that's all you have?
That's all
Okay.
there is to it. Yeah.
All right, so I recorded this video using an AI tool, which is Loom, and just for awareness, Loom is a really great tool where you can record videos, you can share your screen, and actually, it's almost like a tutor or a teacher. Whatever you want to communicate, maybe with a colleagues, or you want to create a training module, you have Loom. As you can see here, there's my image here, but you can actually be in that little circle in a video, like giving an instructional. So I really like Loom for that. And then one of the really, just pause it for 1 second, one of the really cool things about Loom is that even if you make a mistake, you can pause it, but if you keep going, you make a pause or you make an error, the AI can clean it up for you at the end. You can literally go in and choose the part of your instruction to delete or to add another word. You may have mispronounced a word, and you can literally go in and find that part of the word that you mispronounced and actually add it. And then when you replay it, it's like if you never mispronounced a word in your presentation. So Loom is pretty good. You can use it in your office setting, or if you want to share something on your screen, like I'm about to do, you record a Loom. It's really simple. And so here, I'll just give you an example. Because we're focusing on healthcare, but this could be applicable to any profession. So Claude, if you can go ahead and press play. So this is an example of a ChatGPT prompt that I created, right? So I literally copy and paste the ChatGPT prompt, and I am going to move into one of the so it's generating, I don't know if you guys can see the screen clearly, but basically what we're doing here is, just pause it 1 second, sorry. So what we're doing here is we're in a hospital setting. We have a quality and patient safety meeting. You know, in every hospital, there's a quality and patient safety team where they meet once a week to discuss quality and safety initiatives to improve patient safety, to decrease falls, to decrease hospital-acquired infections. So all of these things actually impact hospitals, the bottom line, their finances, and their ratings, right? So it can make or break a hospital system. Quality is essential for them to get paid and funding, et cetera. So if patients are going to the hospital, whether it's their fault or not, and they're falling or they're getting a hospital acquired infection, you know, in the hospital, that's where you pick up most things. So infections. So if you're seeing those numbers increasing, that's not good for the hospital. So one of the things that I did when I worked as a quality consultant is monitoring the data around this and then implementing strategies. So in this case, utilizing AI, we get a prompt from ChatGPT because we're planning this project for 4 to 6 months where we're going to say our falls are too high, our hospital acquired infections are too high, and we need to get it down. So we want the ChatGPT or Perplexity to come up with a plan for us. Do you know how much time this would take if you're meeting for an hour, right? A week. This can take months. It can take 6 months to plan, right? And then another 6 months to implement. But here we can do it within a few minutes. So go ahead and press that play. So ChatGPT is basically building everything for us, the metrics, the baseline, the whole project that we're going to use to implement this quality initiative, right? So that was ChatGPT. Now we are selecting the Perplexity prompt. Perplexity is another AI tool. It is for research. You want research and evidence-based resources, you use Perplexity AI. So we'll copy that prompt and we go to Perplexity and we enter the prompt. and it pulls all of the evidence-based research from CDC, from AHRQ, all of these peer-reviewed articles. So you can just pause it for a second. So I remember when I was in grad school, right, even before when we had encyclopedias, right? But in grad school, it would take so much time to find those peer-reviewed articles and evidence-based research. And, it took a lot of time before you can even write the paper. Now, Perplexity has all of that in the database, right? So you can just do that prompt and you get a list of whatever topic you want to cover. So we just put that into Perplexity for evidence-based recommendations for this project that we're embarking on. So you can proceed. So we covered ChatGPT and Perplexity AI. Another one that I like is Claude AI. You want to write a book, you have a manuscript in mind, put it into Claude AI. So we're putting in a prompt that I created that's tied into the project that we're working on. And Claude basically came up with the entire project, a 12-week project. It didn't miss a thing. It kept going. I actually, for the purpose of this presentation, I had to stop it, right? So I had to cut it short because it covered everything, what the nurses would do, the doctors, what you would do when you meet on week 1, week 2, the planning from the baseline collection, the research, just everything that you would do for the entire project down to a T. So I think I cut it a little. We'll just let it keep going. But this is just to show you how extensive this is. Claude AI is amazing, especially for like deep research. Coming up with books, it's talking about measurements and dashboards, etc. And I hope everybody's seeing clearer than I am. It's very tiny, but go try it after this try it this week and you would see exactly what I'm talking about. So we should, it's giving us some more information. And the thing about it is with AI, it's going to give you a lot of information, but you can pause it now. So you can manage it. You can say, okay, that's enough, or you can stop, or you can wait for it to generate everything, and then you put it into a Word document, and then you go through line by line with your team, because you're going to find things that, even though you have a great team and you're professionals, you're saving time instead of sitting there brainstorming and trying to come up with, oh, this idea. AI is going to give you everything, and you're going to see things on that document that you would have never thought about including. And then that way you edit it and you modify it, and then you can save that time so you can really focus in on what was generated, how it applies to what you need to do for your project. All right, so you can proceed, Claude. All right, so for the sake of the presentation, I prompted it to say, okay, now that we've gotten all the information, we've done the mock prep and initiative, and we've finally seen patient falls reduced. We've finally seen hospital-acquired infections reduced, right? We have all that data, and I'm basically telling it, we're doing an illustration, so let's skip some of the steps. Now I wanted to generate that executive summary, that project report that we are going to use to present to the hospital executives to say, this is a quality initiative that we embarked on 6 months ago, and here are the outcomes, right? So we're going to prompt it. It's almost done. And we're in ChatGPT right now. So we're prompting it to say, okay, we're done. Now we're ready to create slides. I almost said PowerPoint slides, but they're not PowerPoint slides. So we're going to use an AI tool called Gamma. So ChatGPT is basically putting together all of the findings, the data, the baselines, improvements, everything that was done in the project. It's putting it together in slides. Can you pause that for a second? How many times have you had a project that you had to work on? Your team worked really hard on it, and then you need to put it together in a PowerPoint, a set of PowerPoint slides, and then you have to go to Excel and you have to like put in the data and create the graphs and the images and all that. Now there's an AI tool that can give you that information in less than a minute or maybe less than 2 minutes. And so let's go ahead and press play. So ChatGPT created the slides and put everything in order with all our data. I see a heart. Yes. All right. So we're gonna copy all of the slides because ChatGPT is smart enough to put it together to say this belongs on this slide and that. So now we're in Gamma AI, Gamma. Gamma AI. We paste in the text. You have options for the AI to rearrange it, but we're going to maintain the text that we created in ChatGPT. I love Gamma. I just love sharing Gamma because it saves so much time and you have so many options. And my advice to you is get in there and experiment with the AI tools. The more that you go in and you try, that's how you're going to learn. So people pay me to teach them and I teach them certain things, but I always say you have to take what I teach you and go experiment. And that's how you're going to master the AI tools. So right now, the AI is taking all of the project outcomes, the planning, everything that was worked on for the past 4 to 6 months, the outcomes, and it's documenting it into a PowerPoint slide, into a presentation deck. And guess what? It gives us images as well, right? And if you don't like the images, you can come up with your own. You go back to ChatGPT and you prompt it for another type of image. And here I'm choosing a theme, right? We may want different colors that matches your company brand colors or a personal preference. You can choose what colors you want for your presentation slides. So isn't that amazing? So I chose purple and pink and blue because I like those colors. And yeah, so basically it's talking about the evidence base measuring. Can you pause a little? It basically put my title in there and my name. I'm the presenter. We're talking about this quality and patient safety initiative outcomes report, reducing patient falls and healthcare associated infections. We talk about the fact that this is happening on a rehab unit at the hospital, 30 beds, how to enhance patient safety through data-driven strategies. You can continue to press play. And then it gives you the entire slide deck with images, the scope of the project, measuring or starting point or baseline. You got to know your baseline so you know how well you improved, right? Understanding the contributing factors. You have the fishbone diagram. Those of you in quality, you know that is important, right? For root cause analyses, etc. You have the evidence-based solutions that we pulled in from Perplexity to support our findings, right? The group was a multidisciplinary group, doctors, nurses, admin, secretaries, etc. And building a culture of safety. That is huge in the hospital system, right? And you have this slide deck, and guess what? You just save so much time. So now you can share it right, into your email or you save it on the computer. And then whoever would have done this work anyway, they can go in with the team and edit it and share with the rest of the team. Do we agree with slide one, slide two, slide three? Do we need to change this or that? So it saves you time. So I hope this was helpful. I believe we're at the end of that presentation, so we can go back to so what do you guys think? I see some applause. So
Nice.
AI is really cool. It's nothing to be fearful of. You're only fearful of it because you don't know what to expect. But just think about how it can save you time. I think people are clapping because they're like, this can save me a lot of time. This would have taken like months to do, or you know, you save you from an extra meeting, when you can just put this in and then you put all your expertise together and you have everything there and you edit.
Yes, wonderful. This is great. That's very good information there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's a lot for anyone to capitalize on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, I know we're gonna have some questions later, but what I also wanted to mention is my name is Claude. So she mentioned the Claude for AI. This is not this Claude, okay? This Claude is a different person. He was one of the people who initiated the AI conversation during a summer gathering at the Dartmouth College in 1956. So his name was, I believe, Claude Shannon. So the company Entropy adopted the name Claude for their AI version. So that's what it is. It's not this Claude. I can admit to that. But that was really nice, Andrea.
Yes.
I have another question here for you. Um, how do you introduce AI training to already overwhelmed teams?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to mindset, right? In my training, where I start with any client, whether it's an individual, a professional, or a team, it's mindset, right? So we have to level set. Whatever fears you have about AI, the unknown, I understand, right? But the good thing is that you've you're taking the step to learn it. So you take care of mindset first and you let people know that AI is not necessarily here to take your job. And even if it was here to take your job, why not jump in and learn so that you can know where to upskill and what you need to do so that you can maintain your job and be an asset for the company by learning AI, right? So AI is not just coming to take away jobs. What will happen is the people who learn AI, right? Even if your job is not teaching it, there are people who are learning AI on the weekends and at night. Even if you spend 1 hour and you invest in yourself with AI, you would be ahead of a lot of people. So AI won't take your jobs, but I'm sure you guys have heard it before. Who's going to take your job is the other professional who's doing what you do, who learned AI and learned to integrate AI into their existing workflow and upskill and take the trainings like what I offer or get certified, right? So I would say mindset, start with mindset and then figure out that one pain point that you have at your job that's repetitive. It's a repetitive task. And even if you don't know about AI, reach out to somebody like me to say, is there a solution for this? We do this every morning. Or this employee takes 3 hours to do this, but I believe it could be done in less time. Whatever it is, I'm a certified AI consultant. I can do an audit, and you figure out what it is that you wish there was a way. that you can automate, or you wish there was a way that we can get this done in less time, or just ask if there's an AI tool for that. Chances are, if you have a problem, if there's a part of your workflow or even the entire workflow, there's an AI solution for that. We're talking about sending out emails. Like my one of my colleagues I'm working with to build the agents, these agents are going to send out emails at a certain time, respond to clients at a certain time. Of course, you have to train it based on the company's knowledge base, but you're basically creating employees, right? So whatever it is that you're doing that you can ease up the time so that person could focus more on the skill, there's probably an AI solution for that. So I would say just give me one pain point that you have, and then we can work from there and have a solution for that, and then work our way from there.
Yes, this is outstanding, Andrea. One thing I'd like to also extend to what you already said in terms of the fear that people have of losing their jobs because AI is coming up with a degree of efficiency that could take their jobs away from them. And it's nothing new with the advent of technological tools. People always feel that way.
Mhm.
Those who saw Easy Pass coming didn't know at some point they were gonna be irrelevant.
Yeah.
Those ATMs that came in at some point, it made people irrelevant. With AI coming in, it is expecting to get rid of about 80 million jobs. But
Mhm.
at the same time, if you recalibrate and learn and go to school or uh, get something to learn about AI, it will also create 90 million jobs. So while
Mhm.
it's gonna get rid of 80, but it's gonna produce 90 million more, or 10 million more than the 80 being lost in terms of 90.
Mhm.
Now, the from now to 2030, it is anticipated that this business is going to be generating about $15.7 trillion. That's a good that's a big chunk in the economy. And the two countries position themselves to benefit from that are just China and the United States, and mostly the North America. But China and North America really are well positioned to do well in that area. So you gotta get on the bandwagon. You gotta find out what it is that I can do to not feel irrelevant in the market so that you can receive calls um, where the demand is. So that was just to add to what you have already added. Now that we have come to the conclusion of this, I have one last question for you. What's one core principle you want everyone to remember?
What's one core principle everyone should remember? Um, I'm thinking of several right now, but I want people to keep in mind that once you start using AI tools, you and you start seeing the benefits and how intelligent the tool is, don't doubt your intelligence as a human being, right? Keep in mind that this is a large language model, like it's trained. Um, it may respond to you as a human, but it's not, right? So just keep in mind that don't assume that these AI tools are smarter than you. Just keep in mind that it's an assistant, it's an amplifier. So a lot of what I'm hearing and reading about is a lot of young people, especially in schools and so on, they're already using this. That's why it's so important for the professionals and educators and the leaders to get on board to learn this stuff so that they can implement the right policies and procedures. A lot of younger people are just depending on AI maybe to write their papers or to think for them. So even us as professionals, we want to keep in mind that these tools are not smarter than us. They're very smart and very efficient. And they're going to catch a lot of things that human beings are not catching, right? So let's use it the right way. Let's train it the right way, but don't just copy and paste like that slide deck. Don't just copy everything and pass it on to your manager like it's gold. AI can make mistakes, but it is so efficient. You have to use it as an assistant. So I would say keep that in mind and don't become overly dependent on it, because once you really start to learn the AI tools, you would be blown away by how much time it would save you and the ideas that would come up, and you can save a lot of money with it. So don't become over reliant. Use it to amplify what you're already doing, amplify your genius. That would be my advice to everyone.
That's a very good point there. And if you don't mind my adding to that, is that you mentioned the not trusting everything you get from AI. And that's with a good reason because you've got that aspect of AI that's called hallucinating AI. What that does is that
Yes.
because you're looking at the kinds of input you get from a single prompt and you get very specific information, and you tend to think that transcends your ability to your understanding of a machine that could actually do such thing, and therefore it automatically categorizes itself as more intelligent than you are. And but little that you know, what it produces is based on algorithms that are um, embedded in a set of data that those people who are programming these they have, and you already have data sets that are biased. And depending upon the
Yes.
groups that are perpetuating these, they could be generated into the output that you get from your prompt. And because you
Yes.
trust it so much, you would not even realize, wait a minute, it had some errors in it. So it's always a good thing
Yes.
to review and look into what you are expecting out of it to see if it makes sense. And if it makes too much sense, it doesn't mean you cannot try to find a way to corroborate, to find a way to look more into it, research some more, use other types of resources as well that
Yes.
will help you make sense of the output that you get from your prompt. This way, then you are sure what you get is exactly what you wanted. Or if it exceeds your expectations, then that's a good thing too. But that should not stop you from looking forward to getting and gaining more or learning more from what otherwise you could have gotten that you might not have realized. But this is what bias in AI could be and hallucinating AI, because AI is not going to tell you, oh no, I don't know this. So this is where it
Yes.
makes a lot of sense, because if it doesn't know, it's not going to say, no, I do not know. But you can ask a prompt,
Yes.
are you proficient at this or do you know this to the extent that you can trust the output? Then yes, it will tell you because it's prompt based. So that's usually how that goes. But Andrea,
Yeah.
you have um, elaborated on so many good things there that I'm sure the audience would be more than happy to ask you some questions related to the great presentation that you have put forward. So please ask Andrea any questions that you feel she deserves based upon her great presentation so far. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Andrea. I first and foremost, I would say amazing job. I learned so much from your presentation, and what I appreciated was your very um, tangible approach to explaining the AI aspect. I would say that I'm an AI dummy in in the sense that I know the very, very basic, and it's thanks to my husband who keeps on, you know, talking about it, and his enthusiasm has pretty much connected, and I that's how I picked it up. But the way that you explained it, it makes so much sense. And I was actually going to ask you to elaborate, if you may, if you can, please, um, on how it can be used for but like as a note taker,
Mhm.
because this is part of what's done in my team. I'm a teacher, but I also we go through, grade team meetings, and so forth, and it's very time consuming to
Yeah.
capture everybody's thoughts as they're speaking, and then being able to, do it quickly so that you capture everybody's ideas, right? So if
Yes.
you could please expand on that, and if you have some tips on how I can use that in order to speed up.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a really great question. I can think of several AI tools, and for example, I can think of Fathom AI. I have this connected to my Zoom. So if you use Zoom, Zoom actually, everybody is implementing AI, right? So that just shows you that AI is here. It's not going anywhere. So Zoom has various note-taking tools, right? I believe one of them popped up. I did not even know I had that approved. It's called Fireflies. But one of the note-taking tools that I really like is Fathom AI, Fathom AI. And I'll be happy to send you the information. I'm actually working on a book right now that has like all of my recommended AI tools. It's going to be up on my Stand store. If you go to my website, you would find a lot of free resources. I do have paid training, and I do offer like a 30-minute discovery call where I answer these types of questions. So I would recommend Fathom AI connected to your Zoom, or when you have meetings, like let's say you have a meeting with your, I guess, your educators, your colleagues, and so on. You can set up a Zoom meeting, right? And you can have the Fathom going. Now, I have to make a disclaimer. Now, if you're going to be in the hospital system and you're having patient information or whatever it is, you don't want to use a tool like that. Maybe the hospital may have its own, but if you're just having a regular meeting about planning for the next semester, the curriculum, things that are not violating privacy, I would highly recommend Fathom. I use Fathom for most of my client calls. Of course, I let them know the call is recorded and if they're, okay with that, because what it does within minutes of the call ending, you have the most amazing summary of everything that occurred in the meeting. You get the synopsis, you get who spoke the most, the tone of the meeting, who was negative, maybe who was positive, the direction that the meeting was going into, what were the outcomes, what are the next action items. Like it really breaks everything down, and you get it in your email within minutes of the call ending. So I really love Fathom AI. Another thing with Fathom, it doesn't just take notes. Like you can literally click on a hyperlink on the note and you can think of, oh, hey, this teacher said XYZ. She talked about summer school. You click on that part where that person talked about summer school. You know what I mean? So you're not just getting generic notes. You can actually go back and hear that conversation or read the text
Right.
on that. So I would recommend Fireflies. There's another one, Otter AI, and Fathom is like my favorite. And Zoom has all of some of them already built in. You just have to approve it.
Yeah, I think there's
Yeah,
also
Thank
that was
you
a really
so
good
much.
question.
I
Huh?
think there's also Docs AI. I think it's DOX AI that allows
Yeah.
you to take notes as well in documented notes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing because I've been at work where I was the person who had to take the notes, and I'm like, why do I have to take the notes? But I had to take the notes, and then it would take me 45 minutes to say, oh, what did that person say again? Or,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like, that is so long gone, right? So, Father, it saves time, right? So you can take that hour back or that 45 minutes back and do something else. Start working on the action items. So, and feel free to set up a call with me. My Calendly is in the chat. I'll be happy to meet with you for 30 minutes just to talk about what other AI tools I would recommend. And then if you want to move forward, I'll set up some time to train you on different tools to get you caught up. That's what I do. I get people caught up because we are way behind. So I get you caught up so you're the AI expert at your job and at home.
Way to
Yeah.
Thank
go.
you.
Yes, you're welcome. Any other
Is-
questions, or did I cover everything? That's why there's no more questions.
I think the
It truly was awesome. It was an awesome conversation. It truly was.
Thank you. And one other thing I just wanted to add, like as other people are probably thinking about their questions, with ChatGPT, one of the things that you want to do, I've had times where I had to call out ChatGPT to say, "Oh, this is not right. Can you revisit that?" And it would say, "Oh, you're right. You're keeping me on my toes." And sometimes it gets annoying. It's like, come on, I don't need to keep you on your toes. Like you're AI, right? And it has this sense of humor. It would say, well, you're very detail oriented. Like I dropped the ball, LOL. Like it really interacts with you as a human. But that just goes to show that AI tools are not smarter than you, right? It's just coding, right? That's put together by these tech folks and it's trained. So always ask ChatGPT when you put in a prompt at the end, say, ask me as many questions about this project or this prompt so that I make sure that you fully understand what I'm asking you to do. And it's once you say that, it's not going to just jump in and try to do the project for you or produce whatever. It'll ask you critical questions, like 4 or 5, and then it would say, I fully understand. This is what I think you're asking. Can I proceed? And then it'll proceed. Yeah. So always ask it. Feel free to ask me some follow-up questions. So that's one of the tips that I always share with people.
That's good. And talking about weak AI and AI not being so smart after all, sometimes we get to feel the perspicacity, the intellectual nature of AI
Yes.
to it makes you feel as if, you know what, this is beyond my imagination. This beats my expectations. But little that what we would call otherwise as super intelligent AI is not even out there yet, despite what you see. Everything else that you're looking at right now would be considered as weak AI.
Hmm.
Alexa or any other types of tools that you use would be considered weak AI, despite what you see and being impressed by all that. So yes, there's reason to consider yourself to still be on top of this.
Yeah. And the more you get into it, the better it is. So you can identify the fake videos, the
Right.
fake voices. There are people who are going to use AI the wrong way, but
Yes.
if you learn it every day a little bit, you'll be able to spot that stuff in no time
Yes.
and figure out how to use it, the best
Yes.
way.
Yeah, no doubt. That's
Yeah.
true. And I even have a presentation on the cyberclinicpodcast.com that talks about deep fakes.
Hmm.
So you can look it up, or what I can do, I can retrieve it here and post it for just in case you would be interested in taking a look at it as far as deep fakes and how you are able to find out exactly when something is considered deep fakes. So allow me to put the link here. This is the podcast on deepfakes. You'd be surprised to see. what's out there and what can fool you. So
Yeah.
be careful in trusting AI to the extent where you feel you're not as intelligent as this tool.
Use it to save your time. Use it to amplify your genius. And
Yes, exactly.
I do want to shout out. I have some wonderful family from all the way from Grenada. So
Mm.
this is worldwide, all the way from Grenada in the Caribbean, checking out this podcast because AI is impacting everyone. So shout out to Marlene and Wayne Finley
Mm.
represented.
Nice. Welcome, Marlene and Wayne.
Yes, yes, yes.
Please feel free to ask Andrea any questions. I am hoping that you can throw a question or two at her. She's ready and she's excited about this as we are. And please ask her at least one or two more questions.
Yes. LinkedIn, healthcare.
Yes, and you can check the links of where you are able to, if you are on LinkedIn, you are able to connect with her. You can look into her calendars there, her availability. You can even connect as friends, make your request. And if there's anything that you wish to pursue on there, let her know. She's just a message away, and the links are there. You can definitely, she also has her own website that you can, Andrea, you can please put it in the chat. They'll be able
Yes.
to visit it.
Yep. So check out my website, sign up. I do have courses that I train in AI from you could just not know AI and you just have a computer. I will meet you where you are. I train a variety of professionals, whether you've used an AI tool or you don't know what ChatGPT is, you want to create a presentation, you want to learn how to automate things. I will train you or your team. So, seeing that you're on this podcast, just you've shown up. If you go to my website, you can fill out one of the forms so that I have you on my mailing list. And from time to time, I share various free resources. Right now, I did a talk recently. It was online, global, and I gave away some freebies. So you got free templates that you can use on LinkedIn. And those templates I sell for like $500 or more. You can get those for free. So just sign up. And I do have a training on LinkedIn. If you sign up, and I think I gave Claude the information. If you sign up, you get an additional 250 off of the 1,000 that I discounted. So if you want to get your LinkedIn optimized, I will be happy to help you with that, and you get a special discount. Just say that you were on the Cyber Clinics
The podcast.
podcast. And you get what is that? Total of $1,250 off. And
Yes,
we get your
it's in
LinkedIn optimized.
right.
Yeah.
It's in the chat as well. It's posted in the
Yes.
chat.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I have a question for
Yes.
you. I will always be asking about children because I'm a mom of two, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that there are several people in the audience with children also who would like to ask. Well, I would like to ask, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to children, or young children, meaning 13, 11? My girls are 13 and 11,
Mhm.
and they are actually in the audience. And what would be one piece of advice that you would give them pertaining to AI and proper use of it?
Yeah, so that's a really, really good question. And as you were talking, I'm thinking I need to create some resources around that because I keep hearing from people their concerns as it relates to young people and children, right? So my advice would be very similar to the advice I gave to you all on this call. Remember that AI tools are used to enhance us, right? To help us be more efficient. So for you as a parent, I think it's really critical that you have that conversation, just like you have conversations at home, have conversations about AI. Sit at the computer together. Learn it together. Sometimes these kids, they know more than the parents, right? So have a time where you learn with them and you let them know, just like the internet, like you can't just trust anybody or anything on the internet, right? So the same thing with AI. I heard about a situation where the AI acted so much like a human being, and this young teenager, I think unfortunately he took his life. He thought he was in a relationship with the AI tool. I don't remember which one it was, but again, you just the way that you provide guidance to your kids about the internet and the dangers out there, even though there are a lot of benefits to the internet, you have to do the same with AI. Be aware of what they're doing. One of the things, I was speaking with one of my clients who's a friend as well, and he had so many activities for his kids, and I proposed that we can create a custom GPT. So it's not the regular chat GPT. You can actually build a custom GPT within chat GPT, and you train it based on that child and you protect it. So that's one of the things that came to mind. But at the end of the day, kids have phones. So it's your responsibility to guard against like what they have access to and their screen time. But I would say just build that relationship with them through the technology so that they learn how to interact with it. That would be my initial advice. And if I think of any else, I would want to connect with you outside of this chat. But that's my initial thoughts with that. Just learn with them and teach them about the dangers of anything online. So that would be my take on that.
Nice.
Yeah. I wish there was more guardrails, and that's one of the things that I'm exploring, just finding out what are those guardrails that are being implemented, and I'm not seeing a lot of them, unfortunately. So,
Yeah.
and I do have one more thing to add. This is why concerns like yours, this is why it's important to be on platforms like LinkedIn. Because just that question that you raised, right, as a parent, or even on any social media, but I'm a big proponent of LinkedIn. It's a whole different type of social media. There's more professionals there, decision makers. And ask those questions to your audience. Follow people who are trying to protect kids against the internet or AI or whatever it is, or safe use of AI, and you could contribute to that conversation. So that's a really, really good question. I'm sure that resonates with a lot of parents
Yes.
or
Yeah.
or educators. Yeah.
Right. Very good. Anybody else with any questions?
Come on, I'm gonna give you some free advice, right? So just ask me what tools you use. Um, I know a lot of people are in project management, use Notion, all those Word documents. And Claude, you'll tell me if there's any questions in the
Yeah, someone
chat.
just said nice. Gino just said nice presentation.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you,
Actually, I have a
Janelle.
question
Yes,
too, if I may.
yes.
I am working on a project,
Uh-huh.
and I have been working along with Chat GPT and along with the others um, AI. And I find that I use the regular Chat GPT rather than the GPTs.
The custom
the
GPTs?
custom GPTs.
Hmm.
And I wonder what is the benefit of using the GPTs over the chat GPT, because what happens now is that the project I'm working on is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I
Hmm.
find that like I'm writing like 37 chapters or something. And after a while it gets cumbersome because it's
Right.
a lot of material.
Okay.
And what I do at times is I then open a new chat on ChatGPT, but then
Hmm.
I don't get the continuation of
Yeah.
what I had before. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that it knows that all of this relates, right?
Right.
I did go and do my own where you go on ChatGPT and you I guess write your profile, how you
Mhm.
wanted to think about you and how you wanted to all the things you want them to
Learn
recall
about you. Yes.
when you're writing those things. I did do that.
Hmm.
But yeah, so my question is for someone like me who's doing like a 38 page, 38 not paragraph,
Chapters.
chapter,
Chapter. Yeah.
um, what is the best way to go about
Yes.
it?
So, question, before I tell you the solution or recommend the solution, are you writing a book? Is it for education? Like,
Well,
is it
it's
a,
two. It's two.
okay,
So I am writing a book and then I'm writing a show. The show is
okay,
for an hour and the book is more extensive.
okay.
So the show is a snapshot of the
Mm-hmm.
book, right?
Yes. So the solution is it's really simple. Like you took the right step in training it, giving it your background and everything. So
Mhm.
in ChatGPT, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the custom GPTs. Those are just customized GPTs that someone created, like for nurses or nursing students. So it feeds all, like I build those things. So you feed all of the nursing information in there. So a nursing student could come and test themselves, prepare for the NCLEX, whatever,
Mhm.
or whatever the case is. For you, what you're talking about, all you need to do is to create a project in your chat GPT. It's usually on the left side. So you create a project and you name that project, right? Jinu's book or film writing or whatever it is. And you can give it a break, you can go back, you'll always have that project and you continue from there. That way you don't have to start a new chat GPT, a new one, a new chat, basically. Because sometimes it forgets. It would say, no, I don't remember what we talked about yesterday. It
Right.
doesn't really,
I've had that
yeah,
scenario.
yeah, right? And it always says that and I kind of chuckle, like, of course you don't, you know. Um, but the solution to what you're asking about is to create a project, right? And happy to walk you through that. Just set up a call with me, and I'll be able to show you. So you create
Mhm.
the project and you can always feed it more information. And the good thing is once you have that project and you name it, let's say you just want like an overview of it or whatever, you can prompt it to say, hey, give me the overview or what else is missing from this project? Did I miss anything? Any chapters should I write? So you have that specifically for that project or that film. And then I
Mhm.
wanted to suggest another thing, Claude AI. I really like Claude. So you can even use Claude AI and then capture the information from Claude and put it into your chat GPT. Some people prefer it for different projects. If you're writing a book, I would highly recommend Claude AI, like to organize it and all that stuff. You don't need to pay a publisher all this money, an editor. Claude AI or even ChatGPT, but it depends on the project that you're working on. So just wanted to propose Claude to you as well. But create a
Mhm.
project and you could create multiple projects and just name them. Like
Okay,
I have
so
one
I
for my
have
business and
okay.
I just keep adding to it.
Okay, I have one
Mhm.
more question. Are
Yes,
you
ma'am.
familiar with Caltex?
I haven't heard of
Okay.
Celtics. What
Okay.
is?
So Caltex is more for creative people, right?
Uh-huh.
Where you do a book or a play or a movie for
Mm-hmm.
writing things like that. It's specific to creative people in show
Right.
business, kind of. So I just wanted to know,
Yeah.
uh, because eventually I have to transfer everything that I do into Caltex because that's the industry um uh norm. That's what
Okay.
they expect. So whatever I do on ChatGPT or
Mm-hmm.
Claude AI is preliminary, right? Eventually I have to drop it all in Caltex.
Celtics.
So that's just that's
Yeah. I haven't
okay.
heard
So
of it. So is it how do you protect your information? Is it AI as well, Celtex? Or it's sort of like a place that you submit all your work, but
yeah,
it's
it's more
your
like
work?
where you submit after you do everything, it puts it in the proper book form, in the form that they expect to see it, the final
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Okay.
So when you submit it, people want it to be in Caltex.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I can understand if you haven't heard about it because it's more
Yeah.
geared toward creatives rather than like
Right.
business people, or medical folks. So yeah,
Yeah.
all right.
And then there's a lot of tools out there and requirements. One of the things I thought about is, and I'll look up Celtex. Is it Keltex? Oh, C.
CELTX.
Okay.
Mhm. C
CELT.
as in cat,
Uh-huh.
ELT
EL.
like Tom, X as in
Okay.
Xerox. So,
Yeah, one of the cool things you can check out, I was gonna check it while we're talking, but I wanted to stay focused on you. One of the things you can even ask ChatGPT, like I'm working on this project and I want you to ensure that it is in the format that is required by Celtex. And if it's a well-known tool for creatives, like you said, ChatGPT is going to know it and is going to transform all of your information in that format. So when
right.
you do submit it to Celtex, it's already done. You know?
Right. Actually, I've done that. I've put parts of it in ChatGPT and specified to ChatGPT to put in the format of Caltex document, and
Yeah.
it has done that.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, I guess then I just have to then take all of that and then drop it into Caltex.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Because Celtics, I find sometimes can be a bit cumbersome. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
ChatGPT can take care of, you would be surprised. Just throw all your stuff in there and just
Mhm.
ask it, to format it in that way.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but don't forget to create the projects because it would be a shame for you to be working on something, then you start a new GPT chat and it's going to erase all the other stuff or forget it or whatever. It's happened to me before. So yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think one additional suggestion that I have related to the question of not connecting with the previous chat that you may have initiated, you can check on the side, on the left side, you see on the chat, you see the first thing that you put on there is going to be the title of everything that follows. But if you restart a new page, it may not look at what you were doing before because to this one is a new one
Right.
unless you had something saved that you can re-upload it on there, or if you've downloaded something, you can re-upload it. However, on the left side at the bottom, you'll see chat. You'll be able to see, oh, okay, I did start this one, and then it will keep track of everything that you may have had there before. But if it's a new page, yes, it will ask you what it is that you're talking about, or
Right.
upload it if you have it nearby. So
Mhm.
that's maybe why you're not keeping the reconnection. And one other thing I think you questioned about was the the volume of information that you are able to get from it's as if there's no end in sight. Yes, that would be exactly how it would come out. So this is where specific prompts come in. So when you put in the proper prompts, not to say they're not proper, but within the something that can really circle or put in context exactly what you are asking for. It will not transcend it will not exceed it. It will go exactly what you want, and it will generate it, and then you'll get the exact information that you want. But other than that, it will even ask you, do you want to additional information on that aspect of it. And if you keep saying yes, then it will keep generating things and generating things. So you have to at some point give it a frame, and that frame will be exactly where you want to center your information so that it does not go beyond what you really want, because it can be ongoing for endlessly. Um, in OpenAI studied in 2022, if I recall. That was in November 2022. Information could not, the data that it had in its system could not exceed that period of time. So you could have made a request, but if that information was fairly recent, it would not have generated it for you. And then going forward in 2023, it was the same scenario until they started updating, and then Google Bard, it was used to be then, but it becomes Gemini. But it was the same scenario for those as well, where the information was centered on a specific date, and then Gemini came and then extended it beyond limit. And then for OpenAI to keep in business, they had to also make sure they did that, and so did Claude AI. But that's just one thing for you to make sure you can keep track of your prompts, very specific as to what you truly want from it. If it
Mhm.
goes beyond what you need, that's extra. You might not need it as much as it may seem to be either relevant, but it could be also too much of what you are explaining. So just keep an eye on those two, and that might help at least to see the
Yeah.
good side of it.
And I just wanted
Yeah.
to add really quickly, Janu, one of the things that I tell my clients is when you're prompting, you have to, and I cover that in the prime method. It's a way of prompting so that you always get the good results. Say act as. So for example, if you're writing that screenplay, you can say act as an expert screenwriter. I always go to the extreme because I want the best. So you tell it to act as. You have to give it an instruction, right? You're being a project manager and you want to do a summary of something. Act as um a proficient or an expert project manager and XYZ, and you give it the instruction based on what you want. Because as Claude was saying, if you just give it a general prompt, it's going to go crazy because it doesn't know, so it's going to put you down a rabbit hole. So be very specific. Tell it who to act like or what to act like, what the outcome you're expecting, who the audience is, what's the tone you want, whether to use data, whether to use this, that, or the other. And then say, ask me any other questions that you think you need to have answered in order to execute what I'm asking you. Yeah. So you have to be very specific.
Thanks so much.
You're so welcome.
All right, that was a very good presentation here, a very good discussion. The questions are very good questions that we are learning a great deal here. So I guess we have come to the end of the presentation. And Andrea, thank you for such a transformative conversation. You've
Welcome.
reminded us that AI isn't just changing technology, it's changing how we think, how we serve, and how we lead. Your work demonstrates that with the right mindset, AI can empower professionals to innovate with confidence, operate more efficiently, and build people centered systems that truly elevate care. For our listeners who want to continue learning from Andrea and take the next step, here's how to stay connected. I have posted them on the side on the chat. You can copy and paste them there and connect with her. Andrea, that was such an exciting presentation that we had here. I am hoping that the audience benefited as their that could be a motivation for them to come to the next one coming up. So we look forward. This is mostly something that takes place every weekend. Um, this weekend, I think I'm not sure who that's going to be, but if there's no one, although the rest of the month is filled, the rest of December is also filled. So if there's no one for this particular Saturday, you can expect to hear a very good podcast on something that's going to be very exciting as the previous ones were. But it's just going to be audio unless you would want a visual one, just like the one we're doing now. And if there's anything that requires an update, I'll definitely update you on the upcoming, and it will be posted both on Facebook, on YouTube, and LinkedIn, and my webpage, which is cyberclinicpodcast.com. Thank you
Um,
so much, Andrea.
this was so exciting, and I loved the audience and the engagement. So thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
Very good. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes.
I look forward to seeing you again soon. This is again every weekend, especially on Saturdays, around 5, 6, or 7. We are always here. So please, we look forward to seeing you again. Andrea, that might not be your last time. We look forward to one day again having you.
Yes, yes. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you, and you've been a great host as well. So, really appreciate that.
Thank you.